All right, let's talk about something you're probably already feeling in your gut. The global economy is hitting the brakes. But you know what? Instead of just focusing on the doom and gloom, we're going to crack open the playbook on how to navigate what's coming. Let's dive in.
And this quote right here, it says it all. When you hear guys like Elon Musk and Jamie Dimon, people who have access to the best data on the planet, talking about preparing for a downturn, you know it's not just talk. They're taking this incredibly seriously.
So, that leads to the big question, right? What do they see that the rest of us might be missing? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. We're going to unpack their playbook and make sense of it all. And look, these warnings aren't just coming from a handful of CEOs. They're coming from the big global institutions, the ones whose entire job is to keep an eye on the health of the world's economy. Yeah, the International Monetary Fund, think of them as the planet's economic doctor, is saying we could be heading for one of the slowest periods of growth in the last 3 decades. That's a huge deal. And this isn't about just one country. They're sounding the alarm for the entire system.
Okay, so the warnings are loud and clear. But to really understand the playbook, you've got to understand the why behind it all. So let's decode this downturn and figure out what's really going on.
So here's the thing. There's no single villain in this story. It's this messy combination of things all hitting at once. You've got painfully high inflation in the US and Europe. At the same time, China's massive real estate market is in crisis. And on top of all that, we're still dealing with supply chain headaches, unpredictable oil prices, and high US interest rates that make borrowing money expensive for everybody.
It really is the definition of a perfect storm. It's not just one problem we have to solve, it's a whole bunch of them tangled together, hitting the global economy from all sides. And that, of course, makes the whole situation way more challenging. Now, this global storm, it doesn't look the same everywhere. It's hitting different parts of the world in totally different ways. So let's take a quick trip around the globe to see how this is playing out on the ground.
First stop, the United States. Here, people are really feeling the squeeze. We're seeing record high credit card debt, and at the same time, the tech sector, which has been this incredible engine of growth for so long, is hitting the brakes with some pretty significant layoffs. Hop over to Europe, and the story is all about energy. The energy crisis is driving up costs for everyone, and it's absolutely hammering Germany, Europe's industrial powerhouse. And believe me, when Germany's economy catches a cold, the rest of the continent feels it. And then there's China, which is dealing with a serious 1-2 punch. You have a massive real estate meltdown that's damaging people's wealth, and on top of that, youth unemployment is sky high, which puts a major brake on their future growth. Now, India has been a relative bright spot in all of this, growing faster than any other major economy. But, no country is an island. When your biggest customers around the world start buying less, you're eventually going to feel that pinch. Okay, so that's the diagnosis, that's the problem. But now, for the really important part, the playbook. How do seasoned investors look at all this chaos and actually see opportunity? First things first, let's get a key piece of jargon out of the way. You're going to hear the term bear market thrown around a lot. All it means is that stocks have dropped by at least 20% from their recent highs, and pretty much everyone is feeling pessimistic. That's the environment we're talking about. So in a downturn, not every part of the economy gets hit the same way. Think about it. Spending on big-ticket items, the wants like new tech, cars, or a bigger house, that tends to slow way down. But what about the needs? Stuff people have to buy no matter what, like groceries and medicine. Those sectors, like consumer goods and pharmaceuticals, tend to hold up much, much better. It's a classic defensive strategy. And here it is. This might be the biggest secret of them all. When the market is in a free fall and everyone is panicking, what's our natural instinct? To sell, right? Get out before it gets worse. But the smart money, the experienced investors, they often do the exact opposite. They see all that fear as a giant for sale sign on Wall Street, a chance to buy great assets at a huge discount. So okay, that's the high-level strategy. But let's bring this down to earth. How can you find your own opportunity in the middle of all this uncertainty? Here's a simple 3-step game plan. Number 1, skill up. Seriously, when things get tight, companies get obsessed with efficiency. Skills that help them save time and money, think data analysis, AI, automation, they become like gold. Number 2, start small. A downturn is actually a fantastic time to launch a lean business, something with low costs that solves a very specific problem. And number 3, if you can, invest for the long term. History has shown again and again that putting money into the market during a downturn can be an incredible move for your future self. Now let's just zoom out for a second for the final and maybe the most important part of the playbook. It's all about having the right perspective. It's so easy to feel like today's problems are the worst ever, that they're unique. But history tells a different story. The world has been through major crises before. The dot-com bust in 2001, the massive financial crisis in 2008. We've weathered these storms, and every single time, we've found a way to innovate and come out stronger on the other side. And that brings us to the most powerful idea of all. Recessions, they're temporary. They come and they go. But innovation, that's permanent. That human drive to build, to create, and to solve problems never stops. I mean, think about it. Some of the biggest companies we use every day, like Uber and Airbnb, were actually born in the depths of the last big recession. So the real question isn't if we'll get through this, but what amazing new ideas are about to be born because of it.